Welcome everybody to the 2020 Spring Virtual Commencement. And I'll tell you, this is a first ever virtual commencement for Ameritech College, and probably for many of you, and certainly for us. And so pardon us if we have any glitches, and we might have a glitch or two, hopefully not. That said, welcome. We're glad to have you. Do us a favor though, if you're not muted, do mute your mic so that we can proceed through the ceremony with few, if any, glitches. Well, graduates, family, friends, and supporters of Ameritech graduates, thank you for being here virtually. A new experience for all of us. We've had to make many adjustments in our learning model and many adjustments in our life, and you know what? We're doing it pretty darn well. Thank you. Graduates, let's take a moment to acknowledge others who have made sacrifices in your life. Our spouses. If your spouse is nearby, blow them a kiss or something. They've worked hard to help support you through college. Your children. Oh my gosh, I bet it's been a great pleasure to bring home a grade card and post it on the fridge and motivate your children. But your children have supported you as well. Your parents and your friends, thank you for the support of our 2020 graduates. We'd also like to acknowledge veterans and those serving on active military. Normally we'd have them stand, and that would be an easy way to get you to see them, but I don't know how to do that in this environment other than to just say, thank you for your service. We are grateful for your service, veterans and active military. Probably the group that I want to thank the most, besides you, is our faculty. Our faculty have put countless hours in coaching and mentoring you along the process of earning your nursing degree. And there'll be a time and a place that you can reach out and say thank you. Maybe send them an email. There have been a lot of good faculty members that have really cared for you. Do acknowledge them when you can. Ameritech staff, we've had a lot of behind the scenes folks working on setting up a virtual graduation. Wendy, Linda, Josh, Jim, Jenna, Ben, Megan, and many others. A great big thank you for putting this event together and for helping us to produce the event. Our ceremony will commence as follows. First, we will hear from David Haskell, Program Director of the Associate of Science Nursing Program and Simulation Center Director. Then we'll hear from student graduate speakers. And after that, we'll show a short favorite video memory. Let's take it to that point. David, would you take the podium, please?
Thank you, Dr. Banks. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm so excited for you graduates, especially the associate degree group, because I know of your tenacity, specifically in these times, but also when you had 3 instructors for your pathophysiology course. So congratulations on that. So we have combined graduation and pinning tonight. So I'll also be discussing the significance of the pinning process a little bit later. But right now I want to introduce our student speakers to you. The first one that we will have talk to us is Austin Riding. As I talked to Austin, I found out that he is from my hometown. And he grew up there as well in Payson, Utah. He's a lifelong resident of Payson, Utah. He currently works for the city of Spanish Fork, pulling fiber optic cable for them. As I heard that, I thought, boy, he's going to be a great IT nurse when he gets going. He says he has no medical background previously, but his wife is a labor and delivery nurse, and they have an adorable 1-year-old daughter. So I'll let Austin go ahead and speak now.
So it's good to be talking to you guys all again today. I'm sure not every cohort gets the chance to finish out nursing school and graduate from the comfort of their home, which is pretty cool. And I'm sure you guys are all a little more attentive today, less Xbox remotes and Grey's Anatomy playing on in the background. So it's good to be here. The reality of nursing school kind of seems to hit individuals at different times, whether it be first semester during A&P or the second semester or fifth semester, as you realize you're getting close to graduating. As for me though, it kind of seemed like second semester was when it kind of sank in. And it wasn't really because I got the chance to take Marianne's patho class again, but more so that's when clinical experience kind of started. And I remember we started out in the long-term care facilities, and seemed like a lot of med passing or checking blood sugars, things like that. But the third rotation, the nurse was talking to me, and she's like priming you for what kind of skills you've performed, or you know, what you can and can't do. And she, I tell her we just practiced catheters, and she's like, "Oh, really? So great chance for you. I'll have you straight cath patient if you're okay with that." And I remember looking at her and really just thinking, like, I don't think I'm allowed to tell you no, so I guess we can go for it. But I got to follow my list here of things that I'm allowed to do during second semester. And sure enough, it says I can do it, just with the instructor present. I was like, I'll do it for you. I got to go find Joe, my instructor, but I'm not sure where he is, just kind of working out of it. And she's like, "Well, this can wait. You go find him and you can do it when you get back." And so you guys know how it is when you get asked to do something. You just immediately start going over the skills in your head, trying to remember every step, make sure you don't forget anything. And I find Joe being a big guy, might not seem a lot friendly, still getting to know him. But when he smiles, you see the tender side of him. I was like, "Hey, Joe, come help me with this. I got a straight cath patient." And so we walk up to the patient's room, and I just trying to remember all the steps. And you can see I'm just sweating. My bald dome is just starting to pour sweat. Hands are shaking as I'm opening the package. And he looks at me, he's like, "Hey, like, you've done this before?" And you give him the, like I have in lab. And he's like, "Perfect, let's set this down." And I remember him walking me through every step, just not making me look dumb or anything like that, just calmly walking me through the steps. And at that point, I kind of realized that I got to pay a little more attention during nursing school. Gonna have to apply this one day, but that our professors are there for us, and they were there to help us succeed. And it just kind of shown throughout each semester. Each professor took time to either do a Facebook review with us before each test, or make a voiceover PowerPoint. And even the COTAC class, we had those Zoom lectures, those Zoom reviews. We'd have one and then have another one. And everyone just wanted to make sure we had the knowledge we needed to get to where we are today. I just want to say thank you to all of them, to all our instructors. And along with the thank you, just thank you to our family and our friends, our spouses. Thank you to my wife. I got to thank my wife while I'm here. Just for the support you guys have given to each one of us as students. You guys have made it possible for us to reach where we are today. A lot of families at home have taken on new roles while the student might be home studying late, 1 a.m. And so we're very grateful to all of our support. Along with the support and the skills and the knowledge we've all learned here during nursing school, I've been very impressed with just our cohort alone. I've been a part of 2 of them. And I got to finish with you guys, which is great. And the way you guys have cared for one another, you've always been there, showing love, the support, just to help each other succeed has been just amazing. I remember there's multiple times I'd show up, try to get a cram session in before we actually had to take the exam. And I just noticed someone from the cohort that wasn't necessarily a part of my group, and I could just go study with them. They didn't mind. They'd help me out and refresh my memory. And it just showed that you guys were there to help. It didn't matter who, just to succeed. And just that act of caring, I believe, is just one of the key components of nursing. It'll be with us during our whole nursing career, and it'll just continue to grow. And so thank you guys. Thank you as a cohort for the support and the caring you've all displayed. I believe it's what will make us and continue to make us the nurses of the future. So.
Thank you, Austin. He knows how to go out with the splash. And he's a very smart man, knowing to thank his wife like that. Well done. So our next speaker will be Stacy Freeman. Stacy, before she came to Ameritech, she actually has a bachelor's degree in music. And she was the music student of the year for her program. At Ameritech College, she received the 2019 Presidential Scholarship and served on the student council 4 out of her 5 semesters while she was here. She already has accepted an offer to become a registered nurse at the Utah State Developmental Center. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, hiking, writing and singing music, and spending time with her family. So it'll now be our pleasure to hear from Stacy.
Nursing school has been a journey where each of us started at a different place. Some of us found our callings while in our youth, while others joined out of curiosity or because they wanted to increase their income, or like me, on a dare. So my husband, Eric, he knew I was fascinated with medical things, medical ideas. And so he challenged me to just give nursing school 1 month. And so I did. But within 2 weeks, I was hooked. And that passion only continued to grow with every semester. Somehow he knew what I wanted to do before I did. But regardless of where we started, we all have the same end goal. That's to survive and graduate nursing school. And look at us now. We may physically look a bit different than when we started. Swig, Starbucks, and DoorDash have been very good to us, as well as delectable potlucks that may or may not have short-circuited the breaker. However, the changes within each of us are remarkable. We've experienced engagements, weddings, pregnancies, births, as well as our share of heartache, divorce, death, and medical challenges. Together, we've undergone some of our highest highs and our lowest lows. We've learned to feel and increase our compassion in these very Ameritech classrooms as we've reached out with compassion and understanding to our classmates. And in doing so, we've become friends who are invested in each other's successes for the future. Sure, we may still shudder with anxiety every time we pass an A&P student surrounded by bones and muscles as they study frantically for the lab exam, or release a complete exasperated sigh when we think about having to write one more APA paper or take another timed Canvas quiz. We've learned to adapt on the fly to torn scrubs and changes in administration and instructors, and dress codes and testing rules, and even distant learning. But then comes the wonderful feeling of realizing that all of that brought us to this moment. We have truly been tested, we've been refined, and we are stronger for our experiences, and we're braver for facing our fears, and we are confident because we believe in our capabilities. We know we can handle anything that is thrown our way because we've had a lot of practice. We step into this world armed with the knowledge and faith and humor imparted to us by remarkable instructors who have taught us and are passionate about nursing. And that passion in nursing they have shared with us. And so now they too become our colleagues and our friends, and we're grateful for them. We are eternally grateful for the men and women who have done everything in their power to support us and help us succeed, whether it be offering us chocolates and treats or tissue and a listening ear, or even an irreverent joke to help us laugh off the stress. We are definitely overwhelmed with love for our friends and families who have supported and cheered us on, who have taken over doing the chores, and who have demonstrated endless patience. You have believed in us, and you treated us as the professionals you knew and saw we could one day become. And so today, with that faith and trust, we take our place in this changing world, one desperate for dedicated healthcare workers who are willing to stand tall and advocate for those without a voice. Individuals who magnify Florence Nightingale's vision. Her dream is our reality. Our time is now, and we will hold our lanterns high. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Thank you very much, Stacy and Austin. Stacy, we have something in common, music. Now you have time to jam. Maybe we should get together and have a little jam session because you now don't have to study like you did before. Austin, thank you for sticking through the whole process of earning your nursing degree. So we ask you to provide some of your a memory video. As you know, nursing school is most challenging, but it's a rewarding experience, and you know, it wasn't easy. So we ask you to share some of your favorite videos from nursing school, and here are some of your responses. Jim, please play.
My favorite memory from nursing school was definitely Joyce Johnson.
Being sleep deprived and getting up way too early.
Staying up late, studying way late.
A, there's too many. B, some of them are inappropriate. And C, my friends may not want me to share them.
Logan Sanderson trying to pronounce amniodrome.
Lindsay talking about bodily secretions with cystic fibrosis.
Lindsay, I'll never, ever forget about cystic fibrosis.
Way too many to count, but honestly, I would have to say that most of them probably included inappropriate anatomy jokes.
Scaring my friend in SCE with a fake baby.
Being at Provo Canyon Behavioral Center and having a patient grab a key card, managed to get almost all the way out of the building. When he got to the end, he found out that you needed a passcode to get out. So he jumped the reception desk, jumped out a window, and ran down the street, and we don't know what happened to him.
When my dear friend Kelsey Curry ripped her pants between classes and had to go the rest of the day a little altered in her uniform attire.
Joyce invited us to share any unique or strange bodily abilities that we might have. And I remember watching everyone share some pretty weird talents and thinking, these are some of the smartest people I've ever met. But if we needed to, we could start a freak show.
We're always cracking jokes, trying to make the stressful times better with laughter.
We had a lot of laughs, a lot of cheers, but we all came out in the end.
The feeling that we were doing something tough and valuable, worth being proud about.
All the incredible friendships I've made throughout this journey, and just getting to go through this crazy part of life with so many people I get to call my friends.
Submitting my comp predictor, seeing my score, and knowing that I passed. The past 18 months had finally paid off, and I was ready to enter the workforce as a nurse.
Thank you. Those are just some of your videos. You can see everybody's video by going to ameritech.edu/graduation. Do take the time to go see everyone's video. Awesome. Now we have a diverse group of students. We have a musician with a music degree. There's another special person graduating officially this time. His name is William Jones. Many of you know him. He has an MBA, he has a history degree, he has all kinds of background. The last thing I thought he would do was become a nurse, but he has successfully passed his NCLEX. I'd like to have you hear from William Jones, a member of the Board of Trustees and owner of Ameritech College, as well as a successful graduate. Will, you'll need to unmute your mic, but please take some time and talk to our graduates.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to the entire cohort. A very unique time, but what hasn't changed is just how difficult it is, and you have done it. And for that reason, you truly are all champions. You know, I started this journey just with the thought of, hey, let's really get into finding out about the student journey and finding ways to make it better, because we're not getting all the information on the little things that we can do to just make the program better. And along the way, I found out that I just love being around a group of people that love to contribute, that want to make a difference. There's a culture in the nursing profession that's a bit of a club that has a sense of humor while really rolling with the punches for whatever has been provided to you at that moment, which could be a life or death moment for someone else, and you don't want to let them down. And that's a special group, and you're now part of that group, and I really congratulate you. That's all I have to say, Larry, unless you'd like me to take a few more minutes to...
Oh, go ahead, please. You know, I mean, I think it's so awesome that the owner of a school would take the time to go through a very difficult program. And I'm really proud of you. Yeah, and your accomplishment, I'm grateful to you. And we're getting messages on the screen saying Will's awesome, and he is. And take your time to just talk a little bit about you and your passion for education.
It is a passion. My mother was a history professor, and we grew up in an environment where my mother would come home and be excited to talk about ideas, and we'd have academics come over to our home, and we'd have food and wine and talk, and so being in an atmosphere of wanting to make the world a better place, and that starts with an idea. And if you take that idea, the same vision that you've all taken, that as Stacy mentioned, maybe it's a start, it's a push, and before you know it, you turn it into a reality. And I think it's a very special place to share that together. It creates a culture of support and personal self-development that is wonderful, frankly, in my mind. And the only other thing that I'll say is when I went into the military, or when I went to the MBA and I didn't have any business experience or any computer experience, and I was scared. And when I did my first A&P class in semester 1, I was scared in that first A&P class, and I'd never taken a science class before. We have all felt those feelings of being at the base of a mountain and looking at the top and saying, wow, this is going to be long and tough. And you have now all done that. And all I can tell you is that when you complete hard things in your life, and this is, I'm sure, definitely one of them that you consider hard, you won't remember the hard homework or the hard week. What you will remember are the feelings that you had sharing that with other people. So I really encourage you to keep in touch with the others in your cohort, because you're now a club. That cohort is a club together, sharing the experience of what we've all gone through together. And that includes me. So if you're ever in a place where you want to reach out and just talk and brainstorm about, hey, I haven't got a job yet, or I'm in between experiences and I just want to connect with someone and maybe chat about what to do. And that's what this club is about. It's a support group because we've already been through something difficult together. You'll be very proud of that accomplishment, but it's the bond that will be everlasting. And so I tip my mortarboard to all of you. I'm proud of you, as you should be of yourselves. Thank you.
And we're proud of you, Will Jones. Thank you for delivering, you and Ben for delivering the graduation kits to all the folks. And again, this is not an easy time. So we're taking a little bit of time waiting for Lieutenant Governor Cox to join us. He's due to join us at 4:30. I think what I'll do is share an example. To me, education opens the door to opportunity. I grew up on the west side of the valley, and my dad, I can remember my dad saying, you know, why are you gonna go to college, son? You know, he thought he was a mechanic and a self-made guy, and a great man, but he thought that we ought to work and not necessarily go to school. I chose to go to school. I happened to play music, and teachers are so important. I remember a teacher telling me in the 7th grade, you shouldn't play music. And that really bothered me. You shouldn't do this. And, you know, at Ameritech, we don't have that kind of faculty. We have faculty who are confident and build your confidence and help you through difficult studies. And this music teacher told me I shouldn't play music, but I proved her wrong. I went on, toured the world with USO shows playing my guitar. I won a 4-year music scholarship to the University of Utah. That's how I ended up going to college, because my family didn't have the money at that time, and I won the scholarship. So I started at the University of Utah in music. Now, I didn't graduate in music. I later did business and went on my way, earning up to a doctorate. And education opens the door. You can do anything you want to do. You should know that by now, because I am sure that you had some moments that, like maybe in the A&P class or one of the other classes along the way, that you just wanted to say, this is crazy. But the thing is, you can do anything you want to do if you believe you can and if you want to bad enough. I've proved that in my life, and I am so grateful that I completed my studies. Education's opened the doors to many opportunities, and I'm grateful for that. You are graduating with your nursing degree, and many of you have other degrees, and that's great. We need good nurses, but this isn't the end of your studies. You are now lifelong learners, and that is critical, that you continue to learn and add to the profession. And things will change, you know, technology will change things, how we do it, but you've got the critical thinking skills, and you've got the knowledge that you need now to add to your professions and be successful in the healthcare profession. Again, I just applaud you. I know, I mean, I couldn't do a nursing degree. It's just so foreign to me. My son's a doctor. My other son's an attorney. They've gone the way they've gone. Again, they believed in themselves. They had teachers that encouraged them, and they knew they could do it, and they've done it like you have. Let's see if Lieutenant Governor Cox is on the website. He's still not here. Well, let's try something a little bit different. This will be a little bit hard. I can't see the names who are on the screen. I'd just like to hear why you became a nurse. Why you became a nurse. So somebody unmute and tell the audience, why did you become a nurse? I wish I could see the names I'd call. Mikhail, why did you become a nurse? You got to unmute, Mikhail. There you are.
Ever since I was 4 years old, I have known that I want to be a nurse. I want to do labor and delivery. And my mom had, like, she cut hair, and she had a salon in the basement. And she would leave, like, cartoons and things on for me. And when she would come back up, I had TLC on, and I'm watching, like, births, and I'm like, yeah, like, let's do this. And she's like, well, this is what she wants to do. So here we are.
Here we are, and look at you. You've done it. Thank you, Mikhail. If you mute, that'd be appreciated. Well, it looks like Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox has joined us. Welcome. Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Oh, we're glad to have you. I saw you with my friend Amy Newton-Winter yesterday, and we're grateful that you're here. I know you're very busy with COVID and all of the activities that you're engaged in, so it's an honor and a privilege to have you join us today. You've got almost 200 nursing graduates today that are walking through from Ameritech. So let me introduce you and then turn the time to you. Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox is from Fairview, my favorite place. I love Fairview. Been going there since I was a little boy, where he currently resides with his wife, Abby, and their 4 children. He is a graduate of Snow College, Utah State University, and Washington and Lee Law School. He formerly practiced law and was vice president and general counsel for CentraCom. He was the mayor of Fairview and has served in the Utah House of Representatives. Lieutenant Governor Cox is committed to strengthening families, transforming education, increasing voter participation, promoting healthy living, and empowering the homeless. He and his family enjoy spending time in the Utah backcountry. And to me, the best part of all, Governor Cox, is that you play bass guitar in a band. I also play in a band, and we've got one of our graduates as a musician. So we should be jamming today rather than speaking, but we won't do that today. Thank you for being with us. The time is yours.
Thank you so much. What an honor it is, Dr. Banks, to be here with you and with all of these incredible graduates. It is an honor to be part of this special day. I know that a Zoom video conference was not what you would imagine. I've certainly never spoken at a graduation event quite like this, but it's something that is unforgettable and something that all of us will remember participating in together for years to come. In fact, in a relatively short period of time, the world itself looks very different than when you started seeking out the education you've now been endowed with. Even more than you could have imagined before, you are entering a career that will be challenging. There will be long days and long nights that may feel overwhelming. But with those challenges will come an even stronger sense of satisfaction. As you serve people from all walks of life during their most vulnerable and desperate moments, you will feel that sense of satisfaction. I have a special place in my heart for nurses. My younger brother and sister have a genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. I'm sure you are all aware of this disease. My childhood was filled with countless hours at the hospital with them while they received their regular treatments, and they still do. Some visits were routine, and of course, some were more scary. I will never forget, though, the nurses that worked tirelessly to treat and help my brother and sister at every turn. I will never forget how they comforted me and my family during the scary and uncertain times. They were always there, the same nurses most of the time that we got to know personally. They were the rock on which we could trust. They helped us understand the ins and outs of the disease, and they walked us through the most difficult moments. And for that, our family will always be grateful. Now, I'm told that 2020 is the year of the nurse, and it couldn't have been a more prophetic year as our nation finds itself battling this global pandemic, the likes of which have not been seen in our country for over 100 years. Now, when COVID-19 first began to appear in the United States, Governor Herbert asked me to lead Utah's COVID-19 task force. It sounded like, and I knew it was important. I knew a little bit about the disease and what was going on, but I would be lying if I told you I knew exactly what that would entail as the weeks and days and hours began to unfold. I will never forget the night when it became the most real. Many of you will remember this. If we have any Jazz fans here on the call with us, the Utah Jazz were getting prepared to play a game in Oklahoma City. We had 3 confirmed cases of COVID-19 here in the state of Utah, when I got a call from the president of the Utah Jazz that said, hey, we have a problem. Rudy Gobert has just tested positive for COVID-19. He was the 4th case. All of the team was tested that night. Donovan Mitchell, again, the 2 stars of the team, Donovan Mitchell became the 5th positive case here in the state of Utah. And everything changed that night. Our world began to shut down, our country, every nation in the world began to learn words like social distancing and flattening the curve, things we all worked hard to do as we figured out how to get testing happening here in our state, how to improve contact tracing so that we could go on the offensive with this disease, how we could obtain the personal protective equipment that were so desperately needed by our nurses on the front lines to make sure that their lives were not at risk as they were sacrificing to save the lives of Utahns and of Americans across our country. I've learned more about your profession in the last 2 months, I think, than the rest of my life combined. And with that has become a deep sense of gratitude for the immense sacrifices that are being made by our frontline healthcare workers. I would say that that right now the approval rating of nurses is probably higher than ever, even as the approval rating of politicians is maybe lower than ever, and both of those things are deserved. Now, I'm going to deviate a little bit from my prepared remarks. I just now returned back from a service at Memorial Grove, as the governor and I had an opportunity to pay tribute to the veterans of foreign wars as we are preparing for Memorial Day this weekend. As I was there and I was thinking about the sacrifices that those brave men and women have made over the history of our country in powerful ways, I was reminded of this quote by Winston Churchill in 1941 as Great Britain and London were being bombed by the Germans, and things were looking very dark indeed. The United States was just entering the war and preparing to help our friends in overseas in Great Britain. And he said this. He said, "Do not let us speak." Excuse me, do not let us speak of darker days. Let us speak rather of sterner days. These are not dark days. These are great days, the greatest days our country has ever lived. And we must all thank God that we have been allowed, each of us, according to our stations, to play a part in making these days memorable in the history of our race. Now, what's remarkable, excuse me, what's remarkable about that occasion is they did not know the outcome. They were in the middle of it. And of course, Winston Churchill was that kind of leader that inspired his nation. And the Americans came, and the rest is indeed history. And we talk about that history often. In fact, those challenging times molded a group of young people from our country into what we know now as the greatest generation. In a time and in a nation that is more divided and toxic than any since the Civil War, we desperately need another great generation. And that's where you come in. As we are again facing dark days, there are so many rays of light. Nurses from our state who went to New York, one of those, my own classmate, as we graduated from high school together, oftentimes working with people on ventilators and those who were dying alone as family were not allowed in the hospitals. Those nurses from Utah, in a foreign place in New York, acted as family with love and empathy and compassion rarely seen these days. I have been brought to tears by the stories I've been told from the front lines. And as I think about you, who I can't see all of you right now, but I can picture vividly in my mind's eye, I feel deeply humbled. I feel intense gratitude. I feel immense love and appreciation for you. Utah has had one of the most successful responses to this pandemic thus far, and the foundation of that success is thanks to the nurses and the medical professionals that have put themselves in harm's way to save lives. They've been on the front lines and in the trenches since day one. You have already been a part of this. You are now and are to become our inspired leaders and advisors. They didn't do it. You didn't do it for recognition or for glory. You stepped up because that is who you are. You are joining the ranks of heroes as you graduate and begin your careers. So as Winston Churchill said, let us not speak of darker days. These are great days, days made great by selfless servants who care deeply about their fellow travelers. You represent the best of our state. And for that, I say congratulations on this achievement. And from the depths of my heart, thank you. On behalf of Governor Herbert and the 3.2 million people of this great state. We wish you the very best in the years to come. May God bless you and your families in the days that lie ahead, and may God bless the great state of Utah. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Cox. Thank you very much. Great to have you with us. We're grateful that you would take time out to be with us, and good luck handling the COVID as well as you in your run for governor. So thank you very much. It's my It's my pleasure to introduce David Haskell, Associate Director of Nursing.
So at this time, I want to talk to you about the pinning ceremony that we usually hold with graduation. Unfortunately, we're not able to hold a traditional pinning ceremony, but I still want to take the time to thank the pinning committee, specifically Marianne Cook as our chairman, for putting this together. Hopefully in your package, you were all able to find your pin and your candle so I can talk to you about the significance of those to the nursing profession. So pinning actually started in the Crusades. The Knights of Templar took the pin of the Maltese cross and they would pin this on the nurses, and this signified them as they ran around the battlefield as caregivers to those, so that they were not pushed into the fight and they could take care of those that needed their help without being molested. And so this is where the act of pinning actually started and came from in the nursing profession. To honor this, Florence Nightingale, who arguably is the founder of the modern nursing profession, incorporated this pinning into her graduations from the nursing schools that she started. And so we at Ameritech College also want to continue that deep tradition of making sure that pinning does occur. So I hope that you have your pin in your packet, and although we can't necessarily do that tonight, we hope that you will take the time at some point to find a nurse and have them pin you and welcome you into the profession. Also, we do want to recognize Florence Nightingale and her contribution to nursing and what that's done. This year is the 200th anniversary of her birthday. And so we want to recognize that fact, as she has been known for her tireless efforts to improve the human life through nursing. And she's done this many times at night of her own accord, making sure that she went through the wards using a lamp to make sure anyone she was caring for was doing well and not having difficulty. Because of this, she became known as the Lady of the Lamp. So, typically in a graduation ceremony, what we will do is we will have the Lady of the Lamp, or Florence Nightingale, pass on that tradition, and we will light a candle, and you will be expected to light your candle. So I hope you have that ready so that you can use that. And this is to signify that you're going to bring forth light and carry on this great tradition. So to honor Florence and in her abilities, we have a special presentation for you that we want to share. So we'll go ahead and turn the time over to that now.
Hi, I'm Florence Nightingale.
You are not Florence Nightingale. I'm the real Florence Nightingale. Give me my lamp. Work with me, people. Give me some love, people. Seriously. Seriously, people, I am Florence Nightingale. Good evening. My name is Florence Nightingale. I was born in Italy on May May 12th, 1820, and was named after the city of my birth. As a matter of fact, I just celebrated my 200th birthday. I was told that I am the founder of the modern nurse. What does that mean to be a modern nurse? Well, for me, I was a pioneer of social reform, including advocating for better hunger relief programs, working to abolish discriminatory prostitution laws that were asymmetrically harsh on women and expanded then appropriate forms of female participation in the workplace. For my birthday, had we not been doing social distancing, people, I would have invited you over and we would have had a great time. For my birthday, we would have talked about values in the community, personal and professional growth and flexibility. We would have had cake, a great cake. We all love cake. Remember the potlucks? We had cake. Well, we would have had cake for this. And we would have talked about our passion for creating different and sustainable expectations for the profession and advancements to provide the highest quality care available today. We would be sitting around a lovely table, because I was born rich, a lovely table, and talking about how to be a great leader, how to be a mover and a shaker, curious, lifting expectations and challenges of the status quo daily. We'd be talking about the challenges of my day and now the challenges of today for you. So because I can't be with you personally, and because I can't tell you too much about me in person, but I will share. By the way, this is Athena. Athena is my owl. I carried Athena around when I was visiting patients in the hospital. So Athena was very close to me. The patients liked Athena, and it was kind of a talking conversation. I was born into a wealthy family. So let me tell you a little bit about me, and then hopefully one day I'll hear more about you. I was born into a wealthy family and what would be considered a privileged life. When I was growing up, I mingled with other rich children and spent much of my time visiting friends and attending parties. But in my 20s, I began to take an interest in how the sick people in the villages around my home were taken care of. I was educated at home and my interests were in math and medicine. At a time when women in England were rarely educated or allowed to participate in the medical field, I learned 5 languages as well as history, philosophy, and mathematics. When I approached my parents and told them my ambitions to be a nurse, they were not pleased. As a matter of fact, they forbade me to pursue this career. At the time, nearly all nurses came from poor families. My parents felt that nursing was a lowly, menial labor job. I began to visit the poor, but became very interested in looking after those who were ill. I visited hospitals in London and around the country to investigate possible occupations for women there. However, nursing was seen as employment that neither needed study nor intelligence, and nurses were not highly revered. Despite my parents' objections and my desire to pursue my true calling, in 1850 I enrolled in the Institution of Protestant Deaconess in Kaiserwerth, Germany. In 1858, I became the superintendent of the Establishment for Gentle Women during illness in London. In 1854, I was recruited by the Secretary of War to join the efforts of the Crimean War. Myself and 28 other nurses were sent to Turkey. In Turkey, I implemented sanitary reform, which dropped the death rates from 42% to 2%. I was deeply shocked and appalled at what I saw of the living conditions in the military hospitals. There were rodents and bugs, no bandages or soap, contaminated water, and patients laying on unclean stretchers in the hall. In these conditions, it was not surprising that in Army hospitals, war wounds only accounted for 1% or 1 in 6 deaths. I found that the majority of victims succumbed to diseases such as typhus, cholera, dysentery, I was so angered at the death I saw in Turkey, so I issued a report, Notes on Matters Affecting the Health of the British Army in 1858 to the Royal Commission. I also set up a nursing school in London in 1859, where sanitary practices were taught. During the Civil War, the Union Army contacted me to help with field medicine. My recommendations led to the forming of the United States Sanitary Commission. Me and my team of nurses were able to create changes that brought the hospital into much better order. I even established a vast kitchen and laundry, looked after the soldiers and their wives and their children. I was on my feet for 24 hours a day, day after day, and so were the nurses that went with me. I was the only woman allowed, well, me and my Athena, the only two allowed in the wards after 8 at night. To the wounded men, I took care of them. I was known as the Lady of the Lamp. As I would walk around carrying a lamp to light my way as I checked on the wounded and the ill. Over the years, I've received many awards and even allowed to give advice on how to give the best care for soldiers wounded in the American Civil War. In 1859, I wrote a book about caring for the sick called Notes on Nursing. I was so convinced that all nurses should be properly trained that I opened a school called the Nightingale Training School for Nurses in London. When the students finished their training, they were known as the Nightingale nurses. If you look at how I'm dressed, you see that I'm wearing an apron and arm sleeves. This protected me from being soiled. And when they got bad, I would just change them. I wear a hat as well to protect my hair. You're lucky because now all you have a PPE or personal protective equipment. Something else we would have talked around the table on my birthday. Did you know that the World Health Organization announced that 2020 would be the year of the nurse? Do you want to know why that is? First off, it's because I turned 200 years old. Looking pretty good, huh? It's a release of the first State of the World's Nursing Report. It's the culmination of the Nursing Now campaign. It also, nurses make up a majority of the worldwide healthcare force. Nurses are a huge part of the healthcare worker shortfall. Supporting nurses boosts economic growth and gender equality. And this is why it is called the Year of the Nurse. I'm so happy that we could talk via Zoom, but my birthday would have been a whole lot better last week if all of you had been there. I died in 1910. I know I look pretty good for being 200 years old, but Florence actually did die in 1910. She started her own nursing school, revolutionized patient care, and initiated the transformation of nursing into a respectable and important profession. The image of Florence with lamp in hand held aloft to light the way, feeling unmet needs, deeply determined, guided by both passion and science, is one that remains relevant to nursing today. We too can make our own unique contribution to healthcare. Just as Florence Nightingale brought enlightenment to the profession of nursing in the 19th century, passing the candlelight is symbolic of passing the knowledge from one generation to the next. For those of you sitting with your families, those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Joyce Johnson, and I've had the amazing privilege of teaching these students all about the miracle of birth, obstetrics, and pediatrics. Very passionate about obstetrics. As you receive your pin today, know that you have worked hard and deserve this badge of honor. Continue to wear your pin forever, because it'll always remind you of where you came from, what you did, and your successes. I have enjoyed knowing you. I have enjoyed having you in my class. I am proud of you. I am proud of every single one of you. Now, if you will get your lights ready, when I raise my lantern, all of you will light your candle. And this is to signify that I and Florence and every other nurse that has taught you, passing the knowledge from our generation to yours. All right, people, here we go. Raising the lamp. Light your candles. All right. Mikhail, I can see you really good. Good job, girlfriend. You did great. All right, everyone. Good luck. Keep in touch. I love you all. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Florence, for joining us today. Whether you be Florence Nightingale or Joyce Johnson, we absolutely appreciate and love you very, very much. So thank you for joining us. My name is Miranda, and I actually had the privilege of teaching this group of students at least twice during the time that they were with us on campus, and I loved every minute of it. So thank you. I congratulate all of you guys on your accomplishments. You have earned everything, and you deserve every celebration afforded to you at this point. It is my absolute honor to begin the announcement of the graduates. I invite Linda Peterson to join us for the reading of the names. Thank you.
Associate of Science. HILDA, ADERS. KEDRIC, AKIONA. Joseph, ALATORRE. KRISTEN, ALLRED. BRIANNE, ALLERED.
Linda?
Associate of Science. HILDA, ADERS. KEDRIC, AKIONA. Joseph, ALATORRE. SARANA, Albert. KRISTEN, ALDER. BRIANNE, Allen. KRISTALYN, ALLRED. BRANDI, L. Altman. Kevin, Baldwin. JENNA, K. Barrington. Joshua, D. BAYLESS. BRANDI, BENAVIDEZ. Sarah, A. Benioni. Patricia, BERNAL. Samantha, D. Booty. Haley, C. BOWN. NICOLE, M. BROUSSARD. Jessica Brown. Star, K. Burry. SHAYLEE, A. Butterfield. Stephanie, P. CABANILLA. KEITRAJ, J. Calloway. Sheridan, C. Carr. Lori, D. Carter. Jace, Case. Hallie, J. Checkett. Ginger M. Christensen, Chandel Combs, Tamara R. Condi, Kelsey R. Curry, Brianne Curtis, Jordan Dahl, Tara M. Davies, Crystal L. Davis, Raina Dimmitt, Kira M. Drake, Ashley M. Ellis, Keaton Erkenbrack, Audrey A. Erickson, Dana L. Fossen, Selma Faslick, Sandrara M. Fernandez, Brittany L. Flanagan, Tatum L. Foster, Stacy Freeman, Alyssa L. Galley, Megan S. Griffith, Lindsay K. Griffiths, Jade M. Hamberlin, Danica L. Harmon, Courtney C. Hartman, Chad F. Hickman, Madison L. Hunter, Damaris J. Irigoyen, Brianna M. Johnson, Cassidy Johnson, Magdalene C. Johnson, William Jones, Kira L. Kickert, Haley A. LaBounty, Jamie L. Larson, Molly A. Larson, Christina N. Lewis, Casey Lynn P. Tom, Kinley Long, Elizabeth Lopez, Autumn J. Lucas, Maria E. McGuire, Joseph T. Martin, Alexander R. Martinez, Natalia J. McDonald, Camille McPhee, Melissa A. Melvin, Alexia Miller,
Rebecca Miller,
Taylor J. Miller, Randy Mitchell, Carlene E. Moore, Courtney N. Olson, Gloria Ortiz, Stephanie T. Otterson, Tracy Peach, Cheyenne G. Penovich, Taylor Peterson, Madison R. Peterson, Michael A. Fryer, Lisa J. Putnam, Kelsey M. Quezada, Kelsey L. Rasmussen, Heather Rasmussen, Mikkel B. Rawlings, Tabia L. Rice, Kelsey Ricks, Austin S. Writing, Amanda C. Riley, Madison L. Roberts, Yanalyn Rodriguez, Mackenzie N. Rosenhan, Merlin C. Ruiz, Karen Sanders, Logan T. Sanderson, Samantha A. C.I., Heather Shelton, Brianna E. Sheriff, Macy Shipley, Ainsley N. Simon, Ashton Smith, Brittany M. Smith, Latoya M. Smith, Shelby A. Smith, Megan M. Sorensen, Annika Spencer, Sydney Spencer, Natalie Steed, Lauren C. Stevens, Baxter Stewart, Tawny D. Stewart, Nicole Stratton, Michaela J. Tasker, Nicholas Taylor, Lindsay A. Thomas, Caitlin Tibbetts, Megan J. Tishner, Nicole Townsend, Caitlin S. Ulabari, Nicholas G. Baran, Jody L. Wagstaff, Nathan Walker, Elizabeth M. Whitby, Tabitha K. Wild, Sierra Williams, Allison Zachrison, Bachelor of Science, Christina Burr, Catherine Chandler, Alfonso E. De La Cruz, Natalie Edmond, Kennedy Bear, Madison Fowler, Lacey Gibbons, Stephanie Jorgensen, Dorinda S. King, Aubrey A. Lemon, Jenny Lloyd, Mylene Lumlock, Lucinda P. Mendoza, Caleb R. Ogier, Douglas C. Perry, Tisha Patterson, Jeanette A. Pierce, Christelle T. Pollitt, Alina Reeder, Allison Richards, Ashley M. Sands, Tammy D. Stone, Charlotte Townsend, Alexis Wanless, Megan Wilson,
Well, a great big virtual round of applause, but let's make this official. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty and administrators of Ameritech College of Healthcare, and the state of Utah, I wish to extend to you my congratulations on completing the requirements of the degree awarded to you this day. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree that you have earned with all the rights, honors, privileges, and obligations inherent therein. Now, as you move your tassel, keep your hats on, because we're going to do something with your hats at the end as we close out the virtual ceremony. So keep your hats on. That said, you may now move your tassels from the right to the left, signifying the completion of your studies and the transition from your academic experience to your professional degree and career. Congratulations, 2020 graduates. It's my privilege now to introduce Jules Brimley, who will conduct the pinning pledge. Jules.
Students, now that you have graduated and you have met Florence, it is time for you to take the Florence Nightingale Pledge. I would invite you to stand and recite the pledge with me, with your microphones off. I solemnly pledge before God and in the presence of this assembly to practice faithfully my profession of nursing. I will do all in my power to make and maintain the highest standard of practice in my profession. I will hold in confidence personal matters. I will devote myself to the welfare of my patients, my families, and my community. I will endeavor to fulfill my rights and privileges as a good citizen and take my share of responsibility in promoting the health and welfare of my community. I will consistently endeavor to increase my knowledge and skills in nursing and to use them wisely. I will zealously seek to nurse those who are ill, whomever they are, and whenever they are needed. I will be active in assisting others in safeguarding and promoting the health and happiness of mankind. Graduates, welcome to the nursing profession.
Thank you, Jules. So it takes a community to educate a nurse, doesn't it? In a normal graduation ceremony, we would ask you to stand and turn and face the audience and thank your supporters. In this case, we've asked you to thank your supporters through video. So it's our pleasure to play some of your responses now.
A person that I would like to thank is Veronica Killian.
The person I'd like to thank the most without doubt is my wife.
My family, especially my parents.
Angie Locke.
My fantastic husband, Jeremy Rasmussen, and my beautiful boys.
My husband.
My parents.
Brandy Altman, Kelsey Ricks, and Callie Checketts.
My wife, Mandy.
My husband. My parents. My mom.
Anybody who ever uploaded a study guide or any helpful resource to Facebook.
My mom and dad.
My husband, David Condi, and all of my children.
My husband.
My parents and my grandparents.
My parents and whole family.
My husband, Riley, and my kids.
My friends and family.
My mom. My very patient fiance.
My Heavenly Father, my husband Ron, my 5 children, my mom and dad, my siblings, my in-laws, my family everywhere.
My wife.
A person I'd like to thank is my mom.
My wife and my family.
Christina Lewis.
My husband, Zach.
Miss Julie.
My husband.
My husband.
My husband, my mother, and my mother-in-law.
My family.
My friends and my family.
My twin sister.
My mom, dad.
My husband.
My family.
My kids.
My wife.
Our amazing instructors.
Linda Peterson.
My family.
My family and friends.
Rachel Bergio.
My husband, Justin. My kids, Riley, Brady, and Tava. And my parents.
My husband, Alex.
My husband.
Everyone that has encouraged me throughout this journey.
I'd like to thank all my teachers.
Brandy Mitchell.
My parents. My husband, Spencer. And
Kelsey and Stacy.
Person I'd like to thank, especially is my parents for pushing me to start nursing school and supporting me along the way, and my great boyfriend James, who's been by my side too, and all the great people that I've met and helped me get to where I am.
Awesome. Well, if you want to see all of your responses, go to ameritech.edu/graduation. Please take the time to do that. So here's what we're going to do. When I count to three, 1, 2, 3, we'll all unmute and throw our hats, but don't do it until I tell you and cue you in. By the middle of next week or so, the ceremony will be posted on the Ameritech YouTube channel. So take the time to go back and review. And this concludes our ceremony with the exception of just one more activity. So on the count of 3, unmute your mics and toss your hats. 1, 2, 3.